What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. Good to see you. Good to see you. Been a while. Sorry I've been gone. It's been getting a lot done here. Got some big episodes coming. We're in the middle of a two-part series, so I thought let's talk about it. So we're back. We're jumping back into it, and we'll have some fun tonight. So Artemio, what's up, man? Mike Holtz, what's up, dog? Oh, you can't see it. Everybody, Mike Holtz sent me an amazing care package. I'm gonna wait till some more people get in here to talk about it. Dude, I'm so psyched on this. I can't even do it justice by explaining it. I've texted all my wrestling friends. We've all unanimously agreed that we wish we had swag this cool. Like we had, I thought we had cool stuff, but like this is really cool, man. This feels great. I wish I had some headgear on. I'd feel all ready to go, man. Brandini, what's up, guys? And it's good to be back, man. Glad you. Sorry, again, I'll probably say this a couple times through the night, but didn't mean to take so long off. Just these episodes really started. Man, I've been putting a lot of time into these episodes, so I think this will be really good. What's up, man? I got all the regulars in here. Arizona boy, what's up? What's up? What's up? Space Cowboy, good to see you. Billy Bob Bry, good to see y'all. And sorry also that I forgot to put the promo post up too. I got part 2 for the Cochise episodes done today, or the Bascom Affair episodes done today. So that's in the bag. Mike Holtz, what's up, HOKC crew? What's up, Happy Cappy? Good to see you. Space Cowboy, what's up, man? And Mike, I tried to watch some of your guys' videos on YouTube, and I only found one from like a year ago. But I don't even know what the kid's name was. But your 150 pounder from a year ago. He's a stud, man. That was a good match. This kid tried a high crotch on him. He stuffed it, good crossface, right into a near side cradle, stacked him up. It was good wrestling, man. I'd like to know who that guy was. I appreciate your hard work. Well, yeah, man, thank you. And thank you guys for coming back. What's up, Bama Deanna? Good to see you. Like I said, I'll probably say this a couple times more than I mean to, but sorry, good to see everybody. And I didn't mean to take so long off. Just got caught up doing these episodes. It's been a really deep dive into this. This ended up being, I thought it was going to be like a 15-minute episode, and I just kept going, and I didn't really even cover all of it yet. Jake Skywalker, what's up, man? What's up, brother? Hope all is well. It is very well, man. Glad to see everybody again. Just got my copy of Depredations. Right on, dude. You will love it. Guarantee it. Wrestling is exciting. Yeah, it is, Happy Cappy. It's the best sport in the world. D.A. Thomas was a state qualifier last year as a sophomore. Wow, what a stud, man. Good. I mean, what I saw was good wrestling, man. I am pumped. Everybody, we are repping Adams State Wrestling. Mike Holtz sent me an amazing care package. We got 20 people in here. We can talk about it. You went MIA. Oh, Bama Dana, I was working on these episodes though, and now I've got some really good material for this live stream. And I didn't mean to. It just took off, and I'm learning how to balance the episodes and the live streams too. So. My apologies for that, but it's good to see everybody again. Oh, you guys, check this out. So Mike Holtz sent me a care package of all of his wrestling team's gear. We got awesome t-shirts. We got the long sleeve t-shirts. Guys, when I was in high school, you had to go through hell to get this stuff. It's so amazing that he's just giving me this stuff. Adams Wrestling got the long sleeve. Getting in, we got a bunch of state qualifiers. Get those kids their screen time. We got shorts. This swag is amazing, you guys. I'm telling you, had to go through hell when I was a kid to get this kind of stuff. And we did not get backpacks. Look at this plaid. Look how classy this is. Can you imagine how pumped up you would be to go wrestle with this and all of this gear? You would feel so good. You'd be so pumped. Man, that's so awesome. Thank you so much, Mike Holtz. I'm just so pumped on that. Elite Super Grunt, $20 super chat. Let's go. Yes, sir. Welcome back. Welcome back to all of you. Glad to have everybody back. Let's see. Y'all hit that like. Yeah, hit the like button. That really helps us get the stream out there. And we should be back on like a regular schedule now. I just had to figure out how to get this episode done. That's what the live stream is going to be on tonight, because this story just goes on. And in a good way. I'm happy. It was really, really fun to write it and produce it and everything. But man, it just keeps going and going and going. It's like, yeah, it ended up being obviously twice as long as I thought it would be, but probably more like 3 times as long. Dude, you're good on the break. You needed it. Yeah. It wasn't, it was just kind of reallocating my energy to go to these episodes. But I think you guys are going to really like them. I'm really excited for you guys to see part 2. Part 1 was really good, but as all part 1s are, it's kind of a setup for part 2. Part 2 is gnarly, you guys. It is gnarly. And who was it? Oh, wow. We got a bunch of gifted memberships. Elite Super Grunt, 5 gifted memberships. So Sam's Maddie is a member. Barney Barnes is a member. Fuquay Steve. Is that Fuquay, like North Carolina? Steve? Let me know. Armenian Bishop, a member. Not nice, dude. Jeremiah Flaw. I think I got that right. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. I'm going to make all these, we'll do members only streams and everything. Sometimes when I do members only streams, people don't show up because I don't know if you guys get the membership or the notifications. So I might just like make certain streams members only after the fact, but it'll be well worth your membership. What a legend. Yeah. Super Grunt, man. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Right off the bat. Wow. This is great. Let's see. Arizona boy, I feel whole again now that the gang's all here. And Arizona boy, I've been grinding, man, but I meant to check your channel earlier. I didn't get a chance to check it. So we'll check it and I'll put another link up to Arizona boy's channel before we get out of here tonight. Let's see. Karamux, much love from Japan. Oh, very nice, man. I love your content. I'm becoming what would you call it? A Japanophile, a Japophile? I'm not sure, but a big fan of Japan. Getting very into judo lately. So, become that kind of de facto gets you into the entire culture. Big fan of Japan. Arizona boy, right on. Yeah, good to have everybody back. Glad everybody has showed up. I thought, oh man, I forgot to put up the notification. I was thinking about this all day, like what I'm going to talk about, and just kind of how you're going to break this down. And then I realized at like 9:35 that I forgot to put the notification out. So thank you guys for showing up. I put a pause on all that because I'm trying to enlist in the Navy. Oh, okay, very cool. So my attention has been put into that. It takes a lot of attention, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. I get it, man. Good luck on the Navy. I had a good friend of mine. A couple of good friends of mine have served in the Navy. Arizona, yeah, I know. I saw Nick Sweeney in the comments. I saw Nick Sweeney left a comment a couple days ago. He's such an enigma, isn't he, guys? Like, he really is like Man Bear Pig. Like, that's such an apt name for him. But I saw him in the comments and I said something back, but I forget what I said now. Because I think he was talking to Happy Cappy or maybe Bama Deanna. But anyways, we'll give it another 2 minutes and then we'll jump into the story here. I don't want to what's the word I'm looking for? Digress too much. It's late. He's something else. I adore him. He really is. Like, he's a character. He's like he's an integral part of the whole chat, as are all of our regulars. So who don't we have? Pet Detectives. We don't have, who else? Mojo. We don't have Terry R. Let's see. Love your vids. Oh, thanks, Robert Harrison, man. Thank you very much. The live streams are kind of an addition to the regular videos. So we dive into stuff that didn't have time to cover in the video or extra stories. Had a long conversation with my grandpa about the Red River War, says Jake Skywalker, and the Battle of Palo Duro Canyon. I was able to contribute thanks to you. Oh, very nice. Man, he's doing a presentation. Where's he doing a presentation at? Very cool. It's an intricate. There's a lot to talk about. It was a tough episode to do. Really fun, really interesting, but it was really involved. Oh, I forgot my HOKC coffee cup. I feel incomplete. Shoot. I just washed them both too. I know exactly where they are. Dang. Well, at least I remember to bring I was like so pumped to wear this. Super pumped. All right, we got 45 seconds, then we'll jump into it. Also, Mike Holtz, if you're in here, I just watched Nebraska. Brock Hardy just beat Braden Davis from Penn State, and Braden Davis threw a fit. I was not happy with this. I was not happy with what I just saw, especially out of a Penn State guy. I'm here, but I'm disguised as an FBI informant. Surrender, monkey. What's up, bro? Hello from the United States to the UK. Glad you made it. Bama 8A, but what's up, Bama? 8900. Heck yeah, I've been waiting for a live. Yeah, man. Like, we're back. Sorry about the delay. These episodes. That's why we're going to get into it right now. The the Bascom Affair is so much more involved than I really realized. And I think it was maybe Elite Super Grunt. Somebody mentioned Mickey Free, who we're not going to talk about him a ton tonight, but we're going to touch on him a little bit and then do a much more on him later. But I thought that the guy was talking, I think it was whoever was mentioning that. I thought they were talking about Mickey Free from from Princess Band and from Shalimar. And I was obviously talking about a completely different guy. So my bad. Shows my ignorance there. Braden Davis is from Dundee, Michigan, was a 4-time state champ. Yeah, he's a super stud, man. I was just like, he just threw a total fit. Like he got caught. He got caught in a cradle and I'm basically like a spladle. And just like, hey man, it happens, but he threw a fit, especially for a Penn State guy. Wasn't a fan of him. Yeah, he tried to kick Brock Hardy. What's up with that, dude? Yeah, I was very surprised. I just saw that. We need HOKC t-shirts. Yes, all I have left to do is connect the store. So I'll do that this weekend. My bad, guys. I did let stuff slip, but it was an opportunity cost thing. Like I had to do the episode to be able to fund everything else once I get confirmation. All right, cool, man. Okay, so the Bascom Affair. We're going to really touch on the Bascom Affair specifically and the characters involved within. So we're going to talk about George Bascom, Cochise, a couple of the other officers that are there, but mostly I want to get into Cochise and the criticism of Bascom as well. We're going to be drawing almost entirely from Terry Mort's, push that down there, The Wrath of Cochise. Anything by Terry Mort. Let me look up the name of his Cheyenne book real quick too, because I use that a lot for my Beecher's Island book or Beecher's Island episode. Cheyenne book, Terry Mort. It is Cheyenne Summer. I left it at my mom's house and she's using it as a coffee table ornament, and I'm hesitant to ask for it back. But it's a very good book. I wish I had it here to show you. But yes, another book. I'll put the link for it in the chat once I get rolling here, once I get done. The Wrath of Cochise, Terry Mort. Absolutely fantastic. And I drew all of this from about 2 or 3 chapters. So just can't recommend it highly enough. What this all started with was basically a false accusation that we got a $10 super chat. Arizona boy, here's to the band getting back together. Thank you very much, man. It reminds me of the Blues Brothers, right? We're on a mission from God. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. That's what makes me able to do the whole thing, is so I can put the time in here. Let's see. What was it? Yeah. So it started with a false accusation where there was the Americans and the Apache were kind of like ambivalent to each other. There was some raiding, but like it wasn't a full-on war. Certainly, there really wasn't as much conflict as there was between the Mexicans and the Apache. The Apache hated the Mexicans as they had a long-running enmity. A lot of these guys, Geronimo specifically, lost, I think, multiple wives to Mexican soldiers and Mexican raids. Like there was a long-standing fight for the borderland in Mexico. So the Apache even got free passes from the Americans to go in like through the border that they owned after the Mexican-American War and go raid on the Mexicans all you want. They kind of just turned a blind eye to it. Out of sight, out of mind. They just said, go do what you're going to do and we're not going to bother you. Just don't do it north of the border. And that kind of worked for a little while. But in 1861, just as the Civil War is kind of really starting to kick off back east, there's a raid on a farm of a guy named John Ward has a farm. It's in kind of southeastern Arizona. You can see where it is on the map on the beginning of the episode. It's kind of southeastern Arizona. His son is kidnapped, a kid named Felix Ward. And so John Ward goes all over the place from fort to fort saying like, somebody took my kid. They're not Apache experts. They don't really know. The locals at the time they don't know the difference between different bands of the Apache. The Mescalero over to the far to the east, the Coyotero to the west, I'm kind of doing this from memory, the Chiricahua kind of in the middle, and I'm blanking on one. You'll have to forgive me because it's not a huge part of tonight's story, but they don't know the difference. So it's the Coyotero who kidnapped his son, but John Ward doesn't know. He just goes around to the fort saying the Apache took my kid. The Apache took my kid. So they get word of this guy in Apache Pass in southeastern Arizona that it's this guy named Cochise, and people don't even know. They don't know who Cochise is in 1861. He's just like another Apache to them. But this guy, they hear about him and they think it's probably him. He's the biggest warlord. He's kind of the biggest. He's not really like a chief, but he's the biggest name around. So they think, well, he must have had something to do with it. So they invite him. This is just a calamity of errors. They invite him to this meeting. I'm really summing up a lot here pretty quickly, but this new lieutenant out of West Point, George Bascom, is not entirely new to the frontier. He's been out there for, it sounds like about a year. It's his first posting, but he's got no combat experience. So he's not a total neophyte to this area and to the Apache as a whole, but he doesn't know the nuances of the tribe. He doesn't know really the geopolitical history of the area or the cultural history of the area. He just is kind of like going off of his West Point training, which is like a lot of his decisions make sense when you look at it through that lens, but doesn't mean that they're great decisions. So he calls this meeting. It says, come to my tent. We'll have a meeting. We'll just kind of talk about how the army is getting along with the Apache. No big deal, just like a goodwill kind of event, right? But Cochise brings his whole family. He brings his wife, his two kids, his brother Coyuntera, which I had a lot of trouble writing in the script repeatedly. Another Apache, two other Apaches who are sometimes listed as his nephews and sometimes not. It's kind of confusing as to who these other guys were. But he goes into the tent with Coyuntera and he's offered a cup of coffee. And Bascom's like, hey, bros, like, what's up? Come on in, man. You know, it's all chill. Like, we'll hang out in this tent for a second. Leave the family outside. Leave the family and your boys outside. But you two, like, come on in, man. Like, we'll hang out and talk. Then John Ward is inside the tent. Cochise is like, I don't know who this guy is. I've never seen him before. I guess he's just your boy, you know? And then two soldiers are kind of manning the door of the tent. And that makes Cochise and Coyuntera a little suspicious, but they go like, I don't know. I guess this is just like what these soldiers do, you know, this is just like their job. So they go inside the tent and John Ward is acting as the interpreter and he speaks kind of half-assed Spanish. He doesn't really speak that good of Spanish. He probably doesn't speak as good as Spanish as I do. And I don't speak Spanish hardly at all, but he says he speaks Spanish. Kinda, right? He learned it. He's married to a Mexican woman. She speaks Spanish and he's just kind of like pick stuff up, right? Probably not the best guy to have as the interpreter. He's kind of, it sounds like the only guy that they had around, but probably not the best guy to have because he's personally involved. It's his son who's missing. He's obviously keyed up. He's obviously angry. He thinks Cochise did it. So he's obviously got a bias against Cochise. And he doesn't speak Spanish. So it's a problem. It's not great, you know, but they say success is doing what you can with what you have. But like in this case, maybe success would be like, postpone the meeting or something. Like, don't do this. Either way, they start with a cup of coffee. They're like, hey, you want a cup of coffee? Oh yeah, sure. And then before anybody even like gets halfway through it, they're basically like, what'd you do with the kid? And Cochise is like, what kid? And then they say like, don't play smart with us. Tell us where the kid is. And this is like all transferred from Bascom to Ward and then from Cochise through Ward back to Bascom. And he's going, so you can imagine Ward is there's a lot of speculation that Ward is kind of peppering Cochise's responses with a little more vitriol than Cochise might have meant them to have. But Cochise is going, I don't know. What's up, Terry R. just came in. What's up? Good to see you. Josh McAllister, what's up, guys? Good to see you. Sorry, I'm just kind of rolling through this so I don't forget points. We were talking about y'all earlier, though, so we're glad that you made it. In a good way, we were talking about y'all. Now I kind of lost my place. But he starts saying, I don't know who this kid is. And I've never even been in that area. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what you're talking about. And they keep going back and forth. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Eventually Cochise says like, listen, I'm serious. I don't know what you're talking about, but I think if I'm putting these things together, right, I think the Coyotero have them. They probably have them. If you give me 10 days, give me and my brother here 10 days, we'll go over there. We'll come back. We'll get him. It sounds like they have him. We'll get him for you and we'll bring him back. And they say, oh, well, maybe, but then you got to leave your wife and kids here as like collateral. And he's like, no way. I'm not leaving my wife and kids with you guys. Like, you guys are weirdos. You have people stand at the door. And so eventually, a couple more minutes of this, and Bascom says, like, you know what? Like, you can send these other guys out, but I'm keeping you hostage. Like, you're not going anywhere. So they move to arrest him for kidnapping and the thieves stealing some of John Ward's horses, which Cochise didn't do either. Now, Cochise did plenty of this stuff, right? But he didn't do it north of the border necessarily. Excuse me, I got the hiccups from the coffee. And he didn't do it here. Like, he really had nothing to do with this. He wasn't even in the area at the time. But Bascom won't take any of these deals. And he says, you bring the boy back. You go, like, you send your boys back and bring the boy back, or I'm not letting any of you leave. And they move to go arrest him. And Cochise, it's full on. This guy means business. A couple things I didn't understand was Cochise. I kind of knew that he had a notorious temper. Seemed like he had like a notorious temper even for the Apache. Like, some of these guys were a little punchy, but Cochise was like about it. He was about that life. Like, he was down to go. And that's really saying something for the Apache to note that. And then he was a hulking guy. He was like a big guy. And so was his mentor, Mangus Coloradus. Mangus Coloradus was like his predecessor, his mentor, was like 6'6", big giant guy. Cochise wasn't that big, but it sounds like 6 foot, 6'2", and like kind of built more like a fullback. I was thinking he's built like I don't know, like a little wrestler, like a 150-pound wrestler or something, you know? No, he's built more like a fullback, it sounds like. There are no pictures of him, which I've tried to make clear in the episodes. Some people are still very unhappy about that, but I don't know what to do. But he had a much different physical presence than I initially understood. So this big hulking guy gets up, and with his brother, who's also requisitely a sizable guy, pulls his knife out, cuts a big gash in the back of this canvas tent, and bails. And he just bails right out the back of the door, back of the wall of the tent. He makes it, right? He's starting to sprint into the woods. Koyunterra, I try to think of like a buddy comedy or something that we could, but he's like a co-star. Like, I'm not ripping the guy, but he's like this co-star that like bad things keep happening to. And it's like, he's the brother that like just gets the short end of the stick over and over and over. So as they're running, Koyunterra catches his foot on a rock or like one of the tent poles or something. There's a couple theories there, and falls, hits the ground, right? So now he's kind of out of the race. The two soldiers from the tent are on top of him. Back with Cochise's family, Cochise now is just running, right? Some accounts say he still has his coffee cup in his hand. That's a little dubious, but he is running. He's heading for this ridgeline. There's trees, there's snow everywhere. It's February, so there's snow on the ground. It's like, picture more of like a winter wonderland landscape than the middle of a desert for sure. It's mountainous. So Cochise is running, and the soldiers grab his wife and kids. There's a wife and two kids. In the picture of the episode, there's one kid because that was the best picture I could find. But they grab his kids. They're holding them down. One of the Apache, there's two more Apache warriors. One is pinned down. He tries to run, but is pinned down by the soldiers, and they run. One of them runs their bayonet like through, it sounds like here, somewhere in there, and pins them to the ground. Like, the bayonet goes all the way out the back and to the ground. But it wasn't even that. It's a serious wound, but it wasn't life-threatening, apparently. Like, that's kind of all you hear about it, is that, okay, after that, he's okay. But it doesn't, say that it was terrible after that. So it must have missed the vitals. But he's pinned down to the ground. So those three are taken care of, or those four are taken care of. The other warrior tries to take off with Cochise. And so he's running, and they're kind of zigzagging through the trees, making it for this ridgeline. And this guy gets hit in the back, and just, it's like an action movie. This guy hit in the back, boom, goes down like starfishes on the ground, right? Cochise is hitting the calf, but apparently it's not. So I don't know if he is grazed or what, because if you just took a full bullet to the calf, I think he'd be hobbled up pretty good. But it sounds like he was just like hurt, not injured, if that makes sense. So he's able to keep going over the ridge line and then kind of disappear. And and while this is happening, there's a couple seconds where Cochise and this other guy are running and nobody's shooting because they haven't gotten the order from Bascom to shoot yet. So that is a big reason that Cochise, because he's a little bit farther ahead of this other guy, is able to really make some distance and get away. Otherwise, like if everyone had put a volley of the estimate is 50 bullets, if everyone had shot at once, Cochise probably wouldn't have made it. But because there's this delay, he manages to get away, which is like this kind of classic reoccurring theme. This guy's kind of like a super violent Jack Sparrow. Chat, what's up, man? Let's see. Let's see if I'm missing anything in the chat here. I think I'm caught up with everybody. Okay, so Cochise takes off and he goes back to his camp, right? Well, he comes back. He appears later, a little bit later that day. And he says, like, bro, you need to give me back my wife and kids. Like, all right, this game is over. This isn't funny anymore. I don't care about this kid. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, give me back my people and we're going to go our separate ways. He basically thinks like, what is this freak's deal? Like he's like, this guy is a total weirdo white dude. I don't know what he's talking about. And I'm pissed off that he's got my family. So I'm out of here. Like, give me my stuff back or you're going to get it, basically. And if anybody else if any of the other Apache had heard this, they'd be like, oh, this is not good. Even the prisoners that they're keeping are going like, bro, you should really just give us back because this guy is crazy, right? Like, you don't know what this guy's going to do to you. And they go, no, we're not giving him back because there's two problems now. Like, Bascom knows that if he gives up these hostages, Cochise has no reason not to overrun them and kill them all. Like, he's unalive them all. He has no reason. Like, he'll just unalive them all for this. And his career at this point rests on bringing back Felix Ward. So he's like, listen, give me that. If you don't make this deal, you're not going to get your kids back. You're not going to get your wife back. You're not going to get your friends back. And I don't care how you get Felix Ward, but go get him, bring him back, and then we'll make the trade. And even then he's going like, this is bad. And even his boys around, like his men around him are going like, wait, what did you do? And he's like, well, see, it was supposed to be this thing where I was going to arrest him. And then, yada, yada, yada. We ended up taking his wife and kids hostage. And they're just like, what do you mean we took his wife and kids hostage? And he's like, yeah, things went a little pineapple or what things went pear-shaped on us. And long story short, we got his wife and kids and some of his friends captive and his brother captive. And they're just like, oh, the veterans are just like, this is really not good. So he says, okay, well, we're kind of out in the open here, but they are on the road of this Butterfield stage station that runs through the Apache Pass, the mountains there. So they say, all right, well, we're out in the open at this meeting place. So there's just like a couple of tents. So we're going to fall back to the nearby stage station. It's about a half mile away or so. I might be a little shaky on that, but it's like, let's say it's about a half mile away. So they basically have to fall back there and make this ad hoc fort, like literally circle the wagons around it, barricade, pile stuff up against them, pile stuff, try to make walls, try and reinforce the walls of the stage station, and kind of lock the hostages they have up in this little spare room back in the station. So like they're making it an ad hoc fort and an ad hoc prison all at once. And they're trying to do this all as fast as possible because they know the Apache are coming back and they don't understand. This is another classic mistake that Bascom keeps making again and again. Though it makes sense with his training, they don't understand that the Apache do not make these large head-on charges like they've been trained to combat at West Point or in military institutions in Western warfare. So they're preparing for a kind of attack that's not really what the Apache do. They're preparing for this full-on head-on charge, and that's not fully what the Apache are into. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But they don't know that. So they are kind of expecting a completely different scenario to unfold. And the Apache, meanwhile, are experts at guerrilla warfare and ambushes. But this is really the first kind of exposure that these soldiers have to that. And Cochise, to them, is just another guy. So they're thinking like, well, this is an enemy force and we're the U.S. Army and like we'll we'll handle it the way that we've been handled to train it. And Bascom in particular is going, I will handle this in the way that I'm trained to handle it, because he's a young officer. He's just turned 24, and this is his first time doing any of this. So they hunker down in the fort. Cochise goes back to his camp, or to his village, and gets a band of warriors together. Obviously, this isn't great, right? This is gonna turn south quick. They all come back. They surround the place. Cochise comes up to this hilltop again, yells down to Bascom, like, listen, bro, you need to like get it together. Bascom doesn't want to hear it. They surround the whole place, and the next morning, a contingent, I think it's 5 people, might be 4, come out with Cochise. They have a white flag. This is like really shows the army's inexperience here, because the sentries, they're, I almost want to say the south side wall of the fort, but it's really just the wagons that are lined up on the south side of this ad hoc stage station come fort. They spot this group of Apache coming, let's say 5 with Cochise in there. They had this white flag, but the white flag doesn't mean anything to the Apache. They just know that like the army won't do anything to them if they have the white flag, but it doesn't mean they're not going to do anything to the army. They're just like, whatever, man. Like, we just know if we hold this thing up, you guys won't shoot at us. So they say, hey, we want to have a meeting. And eventually Bascom says like, all right, let's do it. This is super duper dangerous. He does know, any idiot can tell the hills are full of Apache now. So when they go outside of this fort, they're going to be surrounded and in no man's land, but they got to go. They got to go try and make a deal. They leave. It's Bascom, Sergeant Daniel Robinson, 2 other guys who I'm blanking on now, and I feel bad about it. But they go out, and the other men are supposed to stay there and protect the fort. They have this meeting, and it's kind of just a repeat of what happened in the tent. It's just, oh, give us the boy. I don't have the boy. Give me my family. You're not getting your family back until we get the boy, on and on and on, kind of back and forth. While this is going on, these 3 Teamsters are like truck drivers. They're like wagon truck drivers. They're like the drivers of the wagon. They do the driving, the unloading, the hitching up, everything. It sounds terrible, but somebody had to do it. And it's a real like trade. So these guys are Teamsters. Like, think of them as truck drivers. 3 of them, they're with the army because they were operating with the Butterfield stage station. So they're helping them haul stuff out there. It's like a private contractor like you would see today. But they know the Apache better than the army does because they've been in this area longer. So the 3 of these guys, it's James Wallace, I believe William Culver, and another guy who's only known as, I forget the third guy's name because they only list his last name. But these 3 guys, they start walking out of the fort and going to this meeting site, thinking like, well, like maybe we can kind of throw our hats in the ring and like have some. Would they, especially Wallace? Wallace knows Cochise. He's like not best friends with him, but they're kind of boys, you know. Like, he's been kind of an intermediary between Bascom and Cochise already. He's the one that took. Oh, sorry, I got a hiccup, guys. Let me close. I don't have that many tabs open, but you know, never be too safe. Okay, so Wallace has been acting as an intermediary between Bascom and Cochise for a while. So like, he thinks he's on pretty good terms with Cochise, and he's not wrong. Like, he's been on pretty good terms with Cochise. But he's also been trying to get on good terms with this local Apache girl named Juanita. And Juanita is apparently the apple of every young man's eye there. Apparently she's a super hottie. Like, not that hard to believe. I don't know. Like, I get it. We get it. Right. But, Juanita happens to be over in she appears in this little ravine over kind of to the right. It couldn't be very big, but it's over to the right, about halfway in between the fort and the meeting site. So probably 50 yards, something like that. And they get to about that halfway point. They look over and they see Juanita. Wallace, especially, he might have had a relationship of some kind with Juanita, maybe like a friendship, but I don't know. I feel like he'd probably brag about it a little bit more if he did. I'm not trying to slight him. Hopefully, I hope he did, man. I don't know. But I don't know. Was the other guy's name? Sorry, hold on. Welch was the third guy. Welch. Yes, I'm sorry. The third guy in this party. Yes, it's Wallace, Culver, and Welch. So, excuse me. they head over to this ravine. They're like, Wallace is like, well, hey, what's up, Juanita? Like, maybe you can help us with this meeting. It's good to see you. Like, what are you up to tonight once this is all over? All that good stuff. And she's like, oh, hi. Yeah, come on over. And as soon as Wallace gets close enough to talk to her, she grabs him, and all these Apaches appear out of nowhere. One of them shoots Welch just right off the bat. Like, dude's just done. Culver tries to run back, and he is shot in the back, but not seriously enough to like unalive him. He makes his way back to the fort. It sounds pretty bad, but it's not bad enough to unalive him. Wallace is pinned down to the ground. Juanita gets him down to the ground, and the rest of the guys like pile on top of him. And he knows that this is bad. Like, if you get taken prisoner by the Apache, this is not good. While this is happening, the whole ambush explodes on everybody. So the meeting is broken up, and Bascom and his group try to rush back to the fort. Cochise and his boys pull pistols on them and start shooting, but everybody misses. Like, everybody makes it back except for Welch. He gets hit. Terry R says, Wallace fell for the oldest trick in the book. Absolutely. Absolutely. And like, listen, like, who among us hasn't, right? Who among us hasn't? I get it. But there's a time and a place for everything. And like, while a major life and death meeting is going on, like, maybe just like tell her to come back tomorrow or something, I don't know. Like, just there's a time and a place. Okay. But so everybody rushes back to the fort, and this meeting falls apart. And now Cochise, and this is what he had in mind, obviously, the whole time, was to set this ambush and take another hostage. Because the auspices that he's working under now is that, okay, it's a matter of how many hostages I have. It's like, okay, you don't want to give me my family back for one hostage? Okay, how about, because I don't have the boy, how about now there's two? Like, how about I actually take a hostage, and we'll negotiate for this guy right here and now, which is like pretty brutal. They disappear with Wallace for a little while. And then Cochise reappears again. I believe it's the next day or later that day. And he's got Wallace on basically a leash, like a rawhide rope. His hands are tied. He's already all roughed up. He's stripped down to hardly any clothes, and it's snowing outside, so he's hurting bad. They drag him up with Cochise like a donkey, right? Like, he's standing there like a piece of livestock, and Cochise is yelling down to Bascom, saying, all right, like, I got your boy now. Like, now we're going to negotiate. We're going to see what's good. And Bascom says, I'm not negotiating for that guy until you bring me Felix Ward too. Because he believes he's in dire straits. Like, his back is up against the wall now. Like, if he doesn't come back with this boy, his military career might not be over, but it's going to be like really sullied. And if he gives up his hostages, he's done for. Like, this is his recurring problem. And he's always waiting for this massive Apache attack to come. So he thinks the only thing that's staving off this Apache attack is having Cochise's family with him, because they can't launch that massive an attack on them if they're worried about unaliving his family. So he says, I'm not going to deal with you until you get Felix Ward back. And Wallace is like losing his, I don't know if he's tied or what. It doesn't say what Wallace is saying. It just kind of, Mort especially, assumes Wallace's reactions completely fairly and completely accurately, because he's going, Wallace at this point is freaking out. He can't believe that he wasn't bargained for. First of all, he thinks like, okay, like, Bascom, he's my boy. He's going to bargain for me. I'll get out of this. No, he doesn't. And he thinks, well, maybe Cochise isn't going to rough me up too bad because he's my boy. No, Cochise is going to rough him up and more. But Bascom says, I don't want to deal with you. So Cochise keeps thinking that, okay, it's not a matter. He doesn't see it as like, I don't have the boy and I'm not returning the boy. And that's all Bascom wants. He sees it as, okay, if you don't want one hostage, let's do two. You don't want two hostages, I'll go get four. So he just needs to go get more hostages with which to bargain. It's not who, it's how many, right? So that night, I believe it's that night, and then the next morning, they start kind of deciding if they want to they know there's two incoming stage lines. One Butterfield stage line is coming in from the west, and one is coming in from the east. They decide to go after the one coming in from the east. So they're going to be coming in from the east. So they lay an ambush for them, and they're like in the very, very early hours of the morning. There's a couple wagons. This isn't the mail train, actually. I mixed that up. There's a wagon train, and then there's a stagecoach coming from the west, and then a wagon train is coming from the east. They decide to go after the wagon train because it's already kind of inside Apache Pass, so they're already kind of trapped. They spring this ambush on them, and there are, I believe, 6 Mexican Teamsters on this wagon train and 3 American Teamsters. And they kill a mule, unalive a mule. Or no, they don't do that till later. Sorry. But they take all the livestock. They loot the wagons of everything. They take the 3 Americans and they tie them up and kind of separate them off. And then they take the 6 Mexican Teamsters. And like I've said, the Apache absolutely hate them. It is just, I think it makes the American conflict pale in comparison. Like, they disdain them. And so they're kind of like, these guys are done for anyways. So they tie them. I don't know how much I can say. I said as much as I could on the episode. They take the Mexican Teamsters, they tie them upside down on these wagon wheels, and then they light little fires under their heads and just kick back and just watch them flail around until they're like not there anymore. And they even like hold the eyes open of the American Teamsters so that they can see either what the Apache are capable of or what's going to happen to them. And it just, obviously, you can imagine that getting in your head. This takes hours. This is brutal. This is horrible. And the Apache just leave everything there. They're just like, somebody's going to find this and they're going to get the message of like, if you're new to this territory, they kind of think like, well, the army, like, I don't know, like, you guys must be new here and you don't know how we do business. So they think we're going to leave this here. Then they come back the next day and Cochise says, all right, guys, check it. So he goes back to the same place and he says, Bascom, check it out. I got 4 hostages now. Okay. Like, or no, I'm sorry. I messed this up. Got a lot going through my head, guys. But they bring these 3 guys back to the camp and they make poor Wallace write a letter with explaining Cochise's terms, saying, well, he's got 4 of us now. He's got me and these 3 other guys. And as long as you're cool to the family, Cochise is going to be cool to us. But if you're not, he's going to treat us like they treat everyone else. And it leaves it, Cochise leaves it on this little bush. It's out in the open, and this is how they did business. So someone in the army patrols will find it. Little conflicting accounts of whether Bascom gets it the next morning or the same night. Either way, it's within a couple hours, and it sounds like, even more makes the case that it sounds like from Bascom's own account that he got it that night. So I went with he got it that night. And he says, like, sorry, man, like, we're still not going to negotiate. Like, we're not going to do this. You don't bring me the boy, we don't have a deal. And Wallace and the other prisoners cannot believe this. Most of the guys in the fort cannot believe this. They think you're just like, you keep screwing up. Like, we can't believe this. You took them hostage in the first place. You're going to get us all on a line. You won't strike a deal. You're going to get us all on a line. We're cut off from everything. They don't have reinforcements coming. They're running out low on food and ammunition. They got to keep the hostages alive. It's just a nightmare, right? They keep having to go out in the mornings too and take their horses to get water at this spring about 1,000 feet away. And that's super dangerous. And it's Sergeant Daniel Robinson, who's kind of like the everyman in this story, who's just like classic NCO, classic non-commissioned officer, really kind of the muscle man behind this. He's like the guy who makes things happen. So he goes out on these super dangerous morning missions to go water the horses. They have to go like reconnoiter the area and then signal back to bring out the animals and then water them and then bring them back. But while this happens, they assume they're going to get attacked. They don't get attacked. And they finally get word from, excuse me, they don't get attacked. And then they're having trouble understanding, well, why would the Apache attack this stage station, but not attack us when we go out to get water? They're just very confused for like a whole day. But the reason they weren't attacked first, the reason they weren't attacked on that morning is because the Apache had left. Cochise and his boys had gone back to their village and taken all their families, like their women and children, taking them south to the Chiricahua Mountains to whatever, like their refuge there, right? Because they want to get them out of the way, because who knows what's going to happen. It's about to be crazy in here. Then they come back north. And this whole time they're kind of talking over their plan. And Terry R., don't forget to hit, $5. Thank you very much, Terry R. Don't forget to hit the like button. Oh, yes, hit the like button. Helps me out a ton. We got 49 people and 28 likes. Let's bump that up, guys. Let's even those out. We want 49 likes. All right. Really, I know it's trite. It sucks to say, but it seriously helps. But the Apache, when they're coming back from dropping their wives and kids off, they get this plan together. I know I said they don't do head-on charges, right? They really don't, but they get this feigned attack plan together where what they're going to do is launch a fake attack on the watering party, and draw out reinforcements from the fort and then attack the fort. And that's kind of rare for the Apache, but pretty damn good tactics, right? For people not trained in that. And that's not normally how they fight. But so for a whole day, the soldiers are kind of caught off guard, though, because that's when the Apache are gone. And so this whole day, they're just kind of like an eerie silence. They're like, well, I don't know, maybe it's over. And then the next morning rolls around, and you can imagine like how creepy this is if you think about it like second by second. And it's all very quiet. It's snowy. It's really cold. And Robinson goes out by himself, right? Sergeant Daniel Robinson goes out by himself, looks around, crawls up to the top of this hill, and signals back to the fort, like gives them the high sign, whatever, that it's good. Bring the mules and everything out. Bascom says, okay, let the animals out. This contingent goes with them to take them to the water. They take them to the water. They're kind of looking around, but thinking, well, yesterday was fine. Like maybe today will be okay. And then bam, everything explodes. Like all around them, gunfire everywhere. The Apache pop up from behind rocks and trees. They're just all over the place, right? Robinson says it's 200. Mort thinks it's maybe like half that, but it's still a lot. It's still a lot to just spring out of nowhere and start shooting at you. In fact, Robinson is hit in the calf. Sounds gnarly. It sounds like a gnarly wound where it like goes in under his knee and then goes all the way down his calf and pops out by his ankle. And he's just obviously in a ton of pain, but just goes and like sits down next to a cactus. Didn't even play a part in the story, but they made a point to say like, he sat next to a cactus. He sits down next to a cactus and just starts squeezing off rounds and keeps fighting. Like he doesn't get hit. Somehow there's bullet holes all over the place, but in his jacket, but he doesn't get hit. It's amazing. But this attack, it draws out. There's I forgot to mention, some reinforcements have just arrived the day prior. And it draws out these reinforcements with another officer. I believe this officer is Lieutenant Cook, who's also a lieutenant. He's actually a little bit higher ranked than Bascom is because he has a little bit longer tenure. And so he leads this rescue party out. So they go out to the spring and they get into the fight. But this is exactly what Cochise has been waiting for. And he's over, if you're looking out from the fort, then Cochise is over to your left, kind of hiding in the woods. So when this happens, he springs his attack on the fort with his men. But they kind of underestimate the firepower that the soldiers in the fort have. Like it's not a ton of guys, but they're able to unleash volley after volley after volley, and they're good soldiers. They're able to do it quickly. So it's a pretty short-lived attack. It doesn't sound like they get even very close to the fort, which is tragic for from Cochise's perspective. Like he's trying to get his family back, and he only can get so close. He knows they're right inside this building, but he can only get so close. So it's a real heart-wrenching story from that end of it. But the battle's over like pretty quickly. And then there's this other kind of back and forth of like, let's trade for the prisoners. No, I don't want the prisoners. Okay, man. Like if you don't want the prisoners, like we're going to go take care of the prisoners ourselves then. So they walk back to the camp. Yeah, it's a couple miles, right? They are pissed. Like Cochise is just getting madder and madder. There's no exact account of how this unfolds, but Mort theorizes that Cochise is really mad. And he goes back to the camp and they're just going to take these hostages out. And they basically just lay into them. Like they just start torturing them. You get what I'm saying? And it's likely, he posits this as well, that all the captives were terrified, which is the worst possible thing you could do with the Apache. The more terrified you acted, the more you cried out, the more prolonged their actions were. They were vicious. Like they were expert torturers as well. He even theorizes that maybe the women of the slain warriors, because they lost a couple of warriors in this, and it wasn't unheard of, or I don't know if it was necessarily customary, but it certainly wasn't unheard of to kind of turn your captives loose to the aggrieved widows. Either way, they are so dismembered, so disfigured by the I got to watch myself with that. Torture, that they're unrecognizable. Like the only reason that they're able to be later identified is because Wallace had gold teeth. And so his old boss was like, yeah, that's Wallace's teeth. Otherwise, like it was just big old pile of, you know, big old pile of bones. So then this, I'm kind of cutting all this short because this is summarizing the episode. I'm trying to get it done in an hour. But this leads to obviously Bascom, Cook, the other lieutenant, to be very mad. And then in the meantime, while this is all unfolded, I'm sorry, I forgot to talk about the rescue party that was sent out the night before the Apache ambush. So the night before the Apache ambush, it is A.B. Culver, who is William Culver, who has been shot, his brother. He has arrived with some of the reinforcements that came in on a stage. I kind of messed a couple of these things up, guys, but it's in the episode. There was a lot to cover. But he is a brave guy. He decides like, I'll volunteer to go on this rescue party. And there's a couple of soldiers that volunteer to go on this rescue party. And what they're going to do is ride out through Apache Pass in the middle of the night, which is the creepiest option that you could have. It'd be the scariest thing you could do. But they're going to ride out of the pass. And basically Culver is going to go kind of northeast towards, it is, I believe, west. It's going to go west towards Tucson. Culver's going to, I'm not familiar with Arizona geography, not as familiar as I should be. Culver is going to go to Tucson. He's going to get reinforcements there. The soldiers are going to go to Fort Buchanan. They're going to get reinforcements there. The soldiers come back with a contingent of dragoons under the command of, I believe it's lieutenant as well, possibly second lieutenant, but I believe it's Lieutenant Moore. They come back, and the dragoons are like heavily armored cavalry, in short, kind of. And then A.B. Culver brings back an assistant surgeon named, he's got a big long name, but his last name is Irwin. So they're all back at the fort. Irwin and Moore have had quite a bit of experience with the Comanche, more than most of the people there. When they find out that they end up finding the bodies of Wallace and the other captives. Then they find the other massacre site. It's not far away. They dump the captives kind of in the same vicinity. They are obviously PO'd by this. Talks go around about like, well, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do for retribution here? We got to do something. We can't just let them do this to our boys. Even though Bascom kind of left Wallace hanging, guys. He kind of left Wallace hanging. He could have done something. Seems like everybody thinks that. Bascom did what his training would tell him to do. And he kind of thought like, listen, man, nobody told Wallace to leave the fort while we're having this meeting. I specifically told you guys not to leave the fort. Wallace is thinking with his, and then now he's here. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You got to deal with the consequences of his actions, but at this point, it's like, well, maybe he shouldn't have had to deal with that many consequences. Either way, Wallace is gone. His gold teeth are left. Everyone's pissed off, right? It's like 10, it's almost 11. I can say that. So they decide we're going to unalive by rope the Apache captives. And Bascom is supposed to have said, like, listen, we don't need to do that. Like, let's figure something else out. And he's overruled by Moore. And Irwin, too, is like, shut up, kid. Basically, like, you don't know how things work out here. And if you don't do this, like, your reputation is going to be ruined. And you're just going to keep getting your ass kicked out here by the Apache. Like, you need to understand, like, you need to send a message. So eventually he's just overruled. And they take the Apache, they take all of them. Like, in the morning, they take Cochise's wife and children, his brother, the remaining supposed nephew of Cochise, and 3 other Apache that Irwin has captured on his way to the fort that have nothing at all to do with any of this. They are likely Coyotero Apache. So they may have had something to do with the Felix Ward thing, but probably not. They're probably a completely separate sub-band of the Coyotero, because they're acting like they have no idea, and they very likely have no clue what any of this is about because they've been caught coming north from Mexico. So for the last like couple of weeks, they've probably been in Mexico. They have this whole herd of stolen cattle that they're coming north with. And usually the army and most of the Americans just kind of like had this understanding, like I said, that like, well, listen, if you're raiding in Mexico, it's none of my business. Like out of sight, out of mind, turn a blind eye, right? So they're thinking like they're driving this herd of cattle north, and they're like, well, there's the Americans, but like, they're not going to bother us. And when they do start coming towards them, they're like, oh, well, like maybe they need something, like they're not thinking they're going to get arrested for something they didn't even know occurred. But Irwin takes them prisoner. So he's got 3 guys with him. So these 3 guys, and then 3 more Apache men, the 2 nephews, right? There's 2 nephews, and then Coyuntura, Cochise's brother, are all hauled out there with his family. And when they get there, they don't really know what's going on yet. It's kind of feel like maybe they had an inkling. But when they get to the site, they're kind of like, oh, this is not good. And Bascom is the one, he argued for their lives, but Bascom is the one has to tell them what's going to happen. And he tells them through this interpreter what's going to happen. And some of them freak out. Like, yeah, they're stoic Apaches, but they're probably like all in their 20s. And most of them are in their 20s, not Coyuntura, but so there's a couple of them start going like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking? We don't have anything. We don't even know what happened, dude. Like, what are you talking about? This is, you can't do this. A couple of them are just like, they accept it stoically. And one of them is just like, whatever, bro. I unalived 2 Mexicans last month. I'm happy. I'm good to go, which is like a pretty, I guess, I don't know. It's a pretty wild thing to say. It's a pretty wild standard to base your life off of, but that's what the dude said. He's like, whatever, man. Like I got 2 Mexicans last week, so I'm good. I don't know. They all ask for like a swig of whiskey. They're all turned down flat. So they're like, great. It's Sergeant Robinson who is in charge of like carrying this all out. So he and his men, get them all set up for this. And we don't know what happened, right? Whether it was like a hard drop or like but it's probably the latter because Sergeant Robinson's account says we hoisted them. He uses the word hoisted. We hoisted them high enough for the wolves not to be able to reach them. And it's like, that's not really the verbiage that you would use for someone dropping, right? Like that. We don't know for sure, but it's probably, the far worse option. So this is all happening in front of Cochise's family, but they end up deciding that they're going to save Cochise's wife and 2 children, and they're going to send them to Fort Buchanan. And their hopes are that they're basically like a walking advertisement for don't mess with the U.S. Army. Like she'll be able to spread this word amongst her people. Don't mess with the Army. They're crazy. Just leave those guys alone. Meanwhile, the rest of the Apache have already gone home. Like after they had unalived Wallace and the other guys, they were like, we kind of got what we wanted out of this. We're going to head home. They don't know that these other 3 guys have been captured either. So, but Cochise, we don't know, but Mort strongly believes, and I think almost anybody would be inclined to agree with him, that Cochise stuck in the area. He's not going to leave. It's against Apache code. It's against all of his previous behavior. He's not going to leave his wife and kids and family and friends here at this fort when they're kind of his responsibility. And, he's not going to just leave and just say like, well, I'll come back. He's going to keep an eye on them the entire time. And that's just in keeping with everything he's done up till this point. So he's likely in the mountains somewhere. He's could or could not have watched this particular event go down. There's a couple schools of thought on that. One that he did, right? It's his brother was there. So likely it's his brother, his wife and kids. He certainly would have had a motivation to suss this out, to keep a close eye on this whole execution detail. But his account of it doesn't say, his personal account doesn't say that he witnessed it. It says that when he found them, their remains, including his brother, were all skeletons. And that is not in keeping with the Apache practice at all. It's like a big deal to not let that happen. They don't want any contact with the dead other than the person's family member. It's like a whole, like, separate this physical and spiritual world. It's a huge thing in Apache culture. So if nothing else, he would have like come down afterwards and taken their bodies down, or at least his brother's body, but likely everyone's. It would not be in keeping with his character or Apache norms to just let them hang there, right? I mean, literally, like, just let them dangle there, like Christmas hams or whatever. So it kind of suggests that he didn't see that in particular. But his wife and children are eventually released, and this just sparks. It is the spark in the tinderbox. It is, as I hear some people say, a power keg. Guys, power keg. I hear that all the time. It's a power keg. It's like, I kind of like that better than powder keg, so I'm going to use power keg. But it is the incendiary event, the catalyst for the entirety of the rest of the Apache Wars. From, not that everything has been, gumdrops and roses up till this point, but now it is just on, and it is in the middle. It is the very beginning of the Civil War. So it's just a mess. It's a disaster. It's going to go on for decades. We're going to see some horrific fighting. We're going to see some horrific torture. It's on both sides. It is just one of the most brutal wars in American history. It's very akin to the Vietnam War. It's super akin to that. It's a new type of enemy. It's in a mountainous terrain. It's guys going out on small patrols. It is a wild story. And so this is just the very beginning of it. We covered Apache Pass, the battle at Apache Springs, and this, with the conclusion of this 2-part series, which is coming on, should be Sunday, will really be ready to jump into the entirety of the Apache Wars. So that'll be a lot of fun, I guess. That's appropriate, right? But yeah, I just wanted to kind of drive this story home a little bit, suss out some more details in it, and really talk about like what a badass Cochise was. Like, this guy means business, man. This guy's a goer. Bascom, I think, bro screwed up, right? Bro just really, it's like a comedy character that just, but obviously the results are terrible, but that just keeps doing things wrong. You're just like, wait, but why would you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense, and just keeps getting worse and worse. But it's not like he was going against his training. He was a West Point grad. He was a young officer. He didn't really even have the option to just like make stuff up. Like, he only knew to stick to his training, and he did that well. And like, it wasn't like he was trying to mess up. He was trying, but obviously there's trying. And it's like my old man says, and my grandpa used to say, you try in one hand and you poop in the other, and see which one fills up first. You don't try, which is like, yeah, I get it. But yeah, not a great showing there for Bascom. And then the poor guy, or he's unfortunate, dies a year later. He's unalived a year later, almost to the day, February, I think 8th, 1862, the Battle of Valverde in the New Mexico territory at the time, but it's now the state of New Mexico. A battle with the Confederates. A lot of people don't know the Civil War came to the Southwest, but Bascom was a early casualty of that. And I just think this is such a cool topic. This is really just kind of the basics of the Bascom Affair. I'm kind of summarizing part 1 and part 2. So use this as a primer, or use this to fill in some stuff from the episodes. But we're just getting started, because we haven't even touched on Mickey Free yet, who is not the guitarist for Shalimar and Prince, as I thought. It's a totally different character who's a wild dude. That's who Felix Ward is. Like, Felix Ward, the captured kid, actually was taken by the Coyotero. Cochise was completely telling the truth. The Coyotero actually did have him. Cochise may have been able to go back, probably could go back and have gotten him if he was allowed to. But Felix Ward lives with them for decades, and then eventually is returned or makes his way back or something to the Americans, but he's fully Coyoteroized at this point, right? And so his name now is Mickey Free, and he becomes like the greatest Apache scout in U.S. Army history. He's a wild looking dude, and he did some wild stuff himself. Kind of definitely like a Herman Lehman story of like, just like a typical frontier kid who's stolen by a tribe and then like totally goes like action hero, goes native, so to speak, like turns into a bad dude. So, and I mean that in the most complimentary of ways, but yeah, great story. We're just getting started on it. Again, guys, cannot recommend this highly enough. It's been a joy to read along with the writing. It's just been like such a great read. It's a super easy read, but super detailed. Like this guy gets every little detail smashed in there without it being boring. So yeah, highly recommend it. You can see I never really do this, but got it all highlighted and stuff. It's like the second time in my life I've ever done that. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm trying to keep this like a little over an hour because I still have to go finalize this episode. But man, we got like 60 people here. That's great. Good to see everybody. Let's see. Oh boy, we got a lot of comments. Okay. Oh boy. We got a lot. Let me see here. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm going to go back to where I was here. A lot, guys. Okay. I just started reading Empire of the Summer Moon. Oh, Chet, you'll love it. You'll love it. It's a must read here. There's an old stagecoach rest stop in the middle of a town near me. It was on a route from Tucson to Phoenix. I think this might have been the same route. Bascom sees all the signal fires in the mountains. Yeah, that must have been creepy when they had to like, they're sleeping in the fort and they just see like all these fires dotting the mountains. And like, what are those? And it's like, oh, those are Apache signal fires. Like, this is not good. I just know the Aztecs didn't build their pyramids. They found them and took them over. Yeah, bro. I just learned that too. I should have learned that earlier. But yes, the Aztecs did not build those pyramids. They found them. They just found them and like took them over. They're like, no one's here. Let's see. Oh man, I'm not even close. Where are these comments? There's tons of them. Well, thank you guys for all the comments, man. I'm gonna try to get to all of them. If I miss yours, either put it back. The easiest way is super chat, to be honest, because it stands out. It's like a big bubble. So like $1 or whatever the cheapest option is. That at least makes it stands out for me. If not, just put it back in the bottom and I'll try and catch it. Chiricahua. Here's the bands of the Apache: the Chiricahua, the Mescalero, the White Mountain, the Coyotero, the Lipan, the Jicarilla, the Tonto, the Pinal, the Arivapai, excuse me, Arivaipa. I'm messing that up. I'm sorry, guys. The Kiowa Apache and a few others. I can't think of them. But yeah, a couple other sub bands as well. Thank you, Josh. Let's see. Parle tu Mexican. Poquito. They weren't counting on Cochise bringing his wife and kids. Yeah, he was kind of like when he showed up, he was like, wait. Who are these people? And they were like, well, he's like, my wife and kids. And he's like, what? Let's see. Elite Superground. Oh, thanks, man. What's up? Windigoon recently. I like Windigoon, man. Recently streamed Apocalypse Now on YouTube. I don't know how he did it, but the video is still up. Maybe it's. I was looking this up. I asked even if it's unmonetized, if I can do that. I don't know. I'd be down. Let me go watch that video. Excuse me. My voice is going, guys. I did the script is super long. It's probably like 25-minute video, but that's like, it takes way longer to record it than that. So my voice is, I didn't even think about that. It's going out. But yes, let me check that Windigoon out, man. I'm a big fan of Windigoon. Thank you for that. I'll do that right after this. That would be really cool. That would be so much easier if we could show the movie. And like Red Dead, my buddy's supposed to be able to help me out. I'll talk to him tomorrow, actually, for getting me set up to stream Red Dead. Let's see. Juanita's showing her tail feathers. Yeah, for real. Like, I don't know. It sounds like Juanita was a hottie, though. Like, let's be real. It's not, we're not saying like, oh, Wallace, we don't get it. But it's like, bro, time and a place. You know what I mean? And she doesn't, like, it's like everything else. Like, bro, she doesn't care about you. Come on. Oh, you think she just appeared in the ravine? Like, oh, hey, come over here. Like, Wallace, she hasn't texted you back in a week, bro. She's left you on red. Why do you think she's showing up right now? Let's see. Man, excuse me. Shaking my head, Wallace would have been better to play it smart. I know. He's thinking with the wrong brain. Arizona, all the Californians did what they do to your state. Yeah, Californians, man, can't live with them, can't live without them. Let's see. We're talking about weather, which has been crazy everywhere. Chet, I dig it, man. Just not Californians. Oh, you're in Austin? Yeah, I'm in Austin, man. I am from California too. I think that surprises people. They always say, like, where's your accent from? And it's like, it's from Central California. We have an Okie accent. We're all like from the Okie lineage. So I met more people from San Francisco and LA since I moved to Austin than I ever did live in 27 years in California. The Apache, especially the Chiricahua, hated the Mexicans. Yes, they hated them. I kind of knew that, but I didn't know how much. The Californians have ruined my state. Well, listen, bro, like I get it. We don't have the most beloved diaspora. I think we could say that. You know what I mean? But you're not talking people from my area. My area is like, not to be fair, my area is like literally Nick Diaz. I'm from the same area code, the 209. It's the Diaz brothers, man. Like that is the 209. That's the 209. But if you had a country full of the Diaz brothers, it'd be a good country. What's in that water? My water's coffee. Speaking of, I don't know, you got any boxing fans in here? I just watched the Aaron Pryor Alexis Arguello fight where Aaron Pryor's manager is like, "Hey, give me that water that I mixed," and they're like, "Well, there's snow in that water," and there's like, "No, there's not." Well, bro, it sure looks like there is. Let's see, surrender. We got that. Man, excuse me, guys. The San Andreas fault. It's a psyop. It's not. I'm kidding. Let's see. I am 100% English, says Surrender Monkey. I love that my family is a mix of Scots and English, but I'm from Lancashire. I pronounce that right? Lancashire? Old Britain. The family name is Scottish, though. I love history. Well, I mean, are you 100% English if your family name is Scottish, bro? I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm just asking questions, which is the quickest way to start a fight, ironically. My ancestors came here to the U.S. in 1620. Damn. I'm glad they did, but I would be like, let's give it some more time before we go over to that America place. Let's see. Bullets do crazy things when they enter the body. Yeah, no, for sure. And this was just a reminder of that, but it's like, whoa. And I don't think this was the only time that Robinson got shot, because he sounded pretty like laissez-faire about it. But yeah, it went in on one side, then came out the inside of the other side. Is gross. Let's see. I'm trying to find anything Cochise related so I don't leave everybody out or leave anybody out. Josh McAllister, can you run 50 miles in a day, go 3 days without water or food in the desert? Yes, I can. And I have proof of that. So just to be fair, Josh McAllister, yes, I can. After Bascom happened, Cochise never let any of his territory without possibly never let anyone in his territory. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, this is when they weren't like bitter enemies from the get-go. They were kind of like coexisting. And then this happened, and it was like, Bascom, bro, you did what? Like, of all things, you know what I mean? Even if it happened today, you'd just be like, if someone was like, yeah, that meeting, well, it didn't go as planned. It's like, well, what do you mean it didn't go as planned? It's like, if it was like a drug bust or what, sorry, I shouldn't say that. If it was like an arrest, though, like a sting operation, and the cops were like, well, we didn't get the subject, we didn't get the suspect, but we got his wife and kids. You'd be like, what? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not the way to go. And then they double down on it. They're like, no, trust me. Now we can't let him go. And you're just like, well, no, let the wife and kids go. Let's see. I can hike over 30 miles in a day without water. Pretty rough stuff. I see those war paint and everything. That Liam Neeson movie with the wolves. The Gray, right? Cochise is a sweet name for a warrior. It is a good name. That's a good name. Yeah. I don't honestly know what it means. I should have looked that up. That 30 miles on pavement in the city going in circles around a track in June in Pennsylvania. Josh McAllister, I don't know what you mean. Cappy, did you finally get over? Oh, yeah, Cappy, I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, still no Nick Sweeney, Elite Super Grunt. I don't know, man. I saw him in the chats, though. I saw him in the comments, I mean. Has anyone read the book Fig Tree John? I have not. No. I will write that down. Excuse me. Fig Tree John. Tree John. All right. Is Mike Holt still in here? Mike, when's you guys' next duel, man? When's the next? You got a tournament this weekend? I'm a keg, but can't afford. I couldn't say that, Surrender Monkey. You almost got me, bro. Crazy Horse is my hero. I think Surrender Monkey's talking about another kind of crazy horse. My favorite tribe are the Lakota and the Cheyenne. Great. I hesitate to pick favorite tribes, but yes, those are particularly fascinating. Absolutely. Very complex societies. Cochise was buried in secret. Yeah, just like Genghis Khan, right? Genghis. Let's see. Chief Joseph and his story are very interesting. Yes, absolutely. I've meant to do an episode on them for a long time. Brilliant leader. The only problem is like they don't have a ton because he's such a great leader. There's not a ton. There aren't none, but there's not a ton of really intense. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Yeah, let's go with intense. Really intense battles or conflicts. But no, for sure, I got to do an episode on Chief Joseph. And there are battles and conflicts. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying they're not as. It's harder to do an episode on them than Apache or Comanche stories. Been learning a bit about the Paiute near where I live. Oh yeah, and in Nevada, Jed Smith has some great Paiute encounters. I did an audiobook kind of thing with Jed Book's journals a couple months ago now, but he talks about a Paiute village and encountering the Paiute and how they kind of freaked him out, basically. I recommend watching the TNT made for cable version of Geronimo. Oh yeah, I've seen that many times. A good historical film on Cochise and Geronimo's time with him and after him. Great. It's a TNT was on it with the Westerns in the 90s, man. Mojo, what's up? Who was called? Mojo Red Cloud was called to Moscow for a special meeting, like Lee Harvey Oswald or what? Brandini, he was a West Point grad, Bascom. Yeah, I mean that's kind of why, like, according to his training, he did a good job. Like he did what he was trained to do. Because he was trained in a different school of warfare. Like he was trained more for this Civil War school of warfare. This is how you would behave with the Confederates. Even trusting that the Apache had a white flag was just like, bro, that doesn't mean anything to them. That doesn't mean anything to them. It has to mean something to both sides for it to really mean something. Let's see. Revenge is a powerful driving motivator. Yeah, it is. It's poisonous. The Lakota were the most powerful tribe of the horse and buffalo tribes, in my opinion. Comanche may be more things. Comanche may be more of things in ways or less. I'm not sure what that, but yeah, I get what you're saying. The Comanche may have more of other. The Comanche had more horses. They were like more wealthy in horse flesh, but no, the Lakota were much larger and more complex, and probably had more like geopolitical impact, maybe, or what? No, national political, intranational. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. Based on all the body cam videos I've watched lately, not much has changed in New Mexico. I don't know what that means. I must be missing something. just close. Oh, I'm not sure. Next Friday, says Mike Holtz. League tournament, then districts. Yeah. You on that run now? Okay, postseason run. Right on, dog. I'll be repping it, dude. I'll be repping this. I'm gonna start. This inspired me. Even I was like, I put this on. I was like, man, it's time to get back in the groove. I got to go find like whatever they got jujitsu or something, judo around here. Got to get back into grappling. So I was just like, yeah, this is that. You know what I mean? You just feel loosey goosey. You feel ready to go in this. Crazy Horse is a man that I respect as an. Yeah, Crazy Horse is like just a cool story and a tragic story. But he's like, he's not a perfect guy, right? Like you don't want to meet your heroes. Crazy Horse probably a pretty cool guy to me. But a lot of these guys, Jack Hayes, Crazy Horse, Cochise, yeah, they're super cool. And I don't even think they're impolite, but I think they would make you a little edgy. Like they'd make you, like Mike Tyson in the 80s would make you like a little edgy. You're like, well, don't make any sudden movements. I think that's how I'd be around all those guys. Y'all want to hear a story? After the Mayflower, one dude went a little cray and parlayed with the animals. They gave him a warning. Oh, yeah. I just read this in The First Frontier. There's a book called The First Frontier. Oh, I've talked about this before, but it covers that. The First Frontier. It's such a good book by Scott Weidensaul. The First Frontier by Scott Weidensaul. Such a good book. This is mostly it's the first frontier because it talks about basically like New England and the 1600s on and what it was like for everybody from the Pilgrims on. It's just crazy. I'll put a link to it here. The First Frontier. I'm going to pin it at the top in case you guys want it. Highly recommend it, guys. That was a great read. I got it on Audible. It was a good narrator too. Sometimes you get a stinker of a narrator. Never on this channel, but sometimes. I've seen many of your videos featuring New Zealand history with the Maori. American Samoa has some interesting history as well. Man, I grew up with 3 Samoan brothers. Like my best friends were 3 Samoan brothers. Yeah, I need to do some Samoan stuff. Love to see you make a video on that topic at some point. Yes, I've been talking to my friend, Jeffrey, if you're out there. Jeffrey watches sometime. But my friends are 3 brothers, big, giant Samoans. It's always good to have some Samoans on your side. It's always good. I was like the little Looney Tunes dog. You know, the little dog that like bounces around the big dog. I was like that. Let's see. Football is effed. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't watched much of it lately. I love football. And for no reason. It's just like this isn't like the football I'm used to. Did Dolph Lundgren make a cameo? In what? Dolph Lundgren's a Renaissance man. I'll keep you updated. Yeah, man. Keep me updated, bro. I'm trying. If you have like a link to your guys' matches or anything, if y'all are online, I'd watch. I've tried to find some other matches, but what I've seen has been great. All right, y'all. I'm out. All right, Arizona boy, get some sleep, man. Rest up for that recruiter. Rain in the Face. Rain in the Face has a crazy little Bighorn account. Yeah, account. That's what I'm trying to say. I stomped ants with Porch Creek every green corn. Awesome, dude. We need to do like a little segment on that. Hatfield McCoy, what's up, bro? I need to learn about the East Coast, says Crowbar. Oh, highly recommend The First Frontier. Highly recommend it then. It's a great, you don't even have to know anything about the East Coast history to get into it. Let's see. Eastern Woodland tribes by 1855, all were defeated for the most part. True, but that means they were fighting for like, I don't know, 300 years, somewhere in there, 400 years. I've seen Chief Dullknife's second great grandson on YouTube. I'll check that out. Dullknife grandson. Okay. Have you seen Chief of War? No, I have not. I'll write that down too. Chief of War. And I have not forgotten the movie nights, guys. I just kind of got off track. So Apocalypto will be our next movie night. Oh no, I have to go do something tomorrow. It's Royal Rumble, and my buddy wants to watch Royal Rumble. And I used to watch wrestling as a kid, but I haven't watched in a while. So taking him to watch Royal Rumble. Imagine if Spain wasn't so greedy. Yes, but also I think like, well, they did come over here and stop like tens of thousands of people from being sacrificed. So I'm kind of like in the middle of Spain, of the conquistador debate. And just like, yeah, Spain during that time, which I know you'll catch a lot of grief for saying that, but like it's true. And they'll say, oh, well, they weren't sacrificing 80,000 people. It's like, okay, well, like I've said this before, let's say it's 1,000. Let's like, okay, let's say that they're saying that they sacrificed 100,000 people. Well, no, let's say that let's say it was 10,000 people. They're saying, and they were off by a factor of 10. So it's actually just 1,000 people. That's still like 3 people a day. They're sacrificing 3 people a day by removing their hearts and then their heads and throwing them down a giant pyramid that they didn't even build. So it's like, if it was me, I probably would have done the same thing, to be honest with you. Not everything. I'm just saying in general. Did the Comanche have no, not really. There's no accounts of it. Doesn't mean like a hard no, right? But like there probably like were some. Respect and love, Crowbar Gnarly. Respect and love, bro. Shaka. Let's see. Hey brother, what's up? Watch The Tank. Okay. The Tank. If you guys want a good book on the conquistadors too, probably the best one that I've read that's the best like primer for it all is Conquistador by Buddy Levy. He's got a ton of them. That guy's a machine. He's got The River of Darkness. I believe it's River of Darkness he has, but he just put He just put a book out on Davy Crockett. That's fantastic. Is it River of Darkness is his? Let me see. Let me see. Yep, River of Darkness. So he did one called Conquistador on Hernan Cortez going into the Tenochtitlan and just, whatever, doing his thing, let's say. Then he's got one called River of Darkness on Oriana going down the Amazon River. That's a rough one, guys. It's so bad. The trip is so awful. Everything they went through is so bad that it's almost hard to read because you're just like, man, is there a good part in this thing? It just goes on and on. And they eventually encounter these big, tall Amazonian women and they talk about it just like it's a matter of fact. So I don't know. And we're not talking like 6 feet tall. I mean, like 8 foot tall women. That's what they're saying. DeSoto was a dog. DeSoto was a dog. Yeah, in more ways than one. Indian leg lock game. Yeah, isn't that an Eskimo game? Or maybe it's on the Plains tribes too. I know the Eskimo have like leg wrestling. Wrestling is fun. It is. Professional wrestling. I think amateur wrestling is the greatest sport in the world that's ever existed, bar none. I think it's the most trying, the most challenging, among the most violent and the most rewarding and the most emotional sports ever. It is the most of all those things, I think, in general. Not the violence. Violence, very, very violent. It's very, very, maybe like MMA is a little more violent. But either way, professional wrestling is the greatest art form, is the highest form. It's better than painting. It's better than music. I'm a musician, man. I love musicians. I love music. But professional wrestling has everything tied into one. Professional wrestling is how the world works. And if you don't get pro wrestling, then I don't think that you get the world. So, yes, that's my little rant on it. Triple H needs to leave. That said, yes, Triple H needs to go, bro. But I'm interested to see tomorrow's Rumble. We'll see. I haven't watched one in a long time. Oh no, Elite Super Grunt. I missed your $2 super chat. I am sorry, sir. Oh, I did just, dude. There's been so many chats, so my apologies. Off topic. What's your take on the new He-Man film? I didn't know there was a new He-Man film. I know as a kid, I was like the biggest He-Man fanatic there was. So let me write that down. Who's playing He-Man? That has a lot to do with it. If you tell me it's that Hemsworth guy, or who else? Hemsworth. Definitely don't tell me it's a Hemsworth guy. I will go watch the trailer though and let you know. Sorry about that, bro. These are all flying. This is more chats than I'm used to. This is great. The Royal Rumble is my favorite of the WWE main events. Yeah, that might be true, dude. Just for like the overall, because there's nothing else like it. And it's like I think it's very easy to explain to someone that's new to wrestling. Ric Flair, woo. If you had a choice between Coke or Pepsi, what would it be? Coke, Coca-Cola. Atomic Elbow Talk. Ooh, this is going to be a good one tomorrow. Atomic Elbow Talk. My favorite finisher, though. My favorite finisher is the Stunner. But I don't know. Maybe Sweet Chin Music. Sacco, too. I really liked Sacco. Let's see. It's unknown to some, I think. Wait. Coke over Pepsi. Always, yeah, because of the Mexican Coke. Yeah, dude, 100%. You are no musician if you can say anything else is better than music. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, pro wrestling even incorporates music into its show. It's a part of the whole thing. It has everything. It has drama. It has violence. It has sex. It's got a lot of sex appeal. It's got music. It's got explosions. It's got storylines. It's got acrobatics. It's got everything. Let's see. Have you had a mezcal drink before? Yeah, once, I think. I like tequila and I like mezcal. I know those are two different things, but that's my preferred arena. Any thoughts on doing a deep dive into the weaponry of the Old West? Yeah, I can do. I'm not like terribly astute on it, but I would like to. I can, we can talk about the basics. I actually live not too far from a special like historic firearms dealer, so I was wondering if I could maybe go talk to them. Because when it gets to the weapons and guys that are like experts in it, you don't want to say the wrong number or something. They'll freak out. If it's supposed to be whatever 9mm and you say 8mm, which I get it, guys, but like I've gotten more flack for that than anything else in the comments. Woo, they get mad. Eddie Guerrero, bro. R.I.P. Eddie Guerrero, man. Just like I don't even know if kids today can understand. It was like, no, this held the whole country. Like this, we had never seen anything like this before, and it captivated an entire country every week. On the Coca question, beer, says Surrender Monkey. Yeah, you guys have, I think you guys might have like, I don't know, you guys have a different beer in the UK though. Like you guys can enjoy it. When we have beer in America, it's like a violent challenge thing. And I like beer. I'm just saying. I'm pretty well versed in weapons, but not Wild West in particular. Yeah, I'd have to bring on somebody because I know the basics, but I'll be way out of my depth if I start getting into calibers and firing mechanisms and stuff. Music has all of the above and then some. Hey, I mean, I get what you're saying. But my staunch opinion is that in show business, in entertainment, they've taken the top. They are the pinnacle. They are the ceiling. There's just no way to beat professional wrestling because they offer everything. It's soap operas for men, certainly, but it's like when you take all of these elements together, it's just like, it's incredible. Pro wrestling done well is, I think, as good as it gets. Do you know the difference between Native Americans and our current mindset? I don't really know. Can you clarify that a little bit? I'm not sure what that means, Linford. I respect you much more knowing you get pro wrestling and how the whole world is a work. It's a work, bro. It's all kayfabe. It's what I mean. It's an analogous for life. Flintlock, match lock, wheel lock. Yeah, I'm already out of my depth there. Music can have healing vibrations too. Yeah, don't doubt it. And there's a big conspiracy about changing. You probably know about this, but about changing from 330 hertz, whatever it was. They've changed the hertz at which music is recorded and played. It's up to like 430 or something like that. I'm missing the number. I'm mixing the numbers up. But if you go listen to music that's recorded and played in 330, I believe it is it's a completely different experience. It's way more actually relaxing. 432 hertz. Okay, and that's the proper one, right? Can you explain the two? Let's see. Ownership versus stewardship. Yeah, I'm not, as far as like their relationship to their lands. I mean, like, yes, I understand like their view of themselves. I mean, probably the preferable view for many of us is they view themselves as stewards of their lands and not owners of them per se. Um, check out the White River Apache. Okay. Yeah, I'm just getting, peripherally known of the Apache, but haven't done a deep dive. Stewardship, they don't own anything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like they don't own it. It's something that they are charged with taking care of. Remember Owen Hart? Oh, well, yeah, man. Who RIP? Who could forget? I remember when that happened. I remember exactly hearing about it and couldn't even really understand. I was, 10, something like that. So, um, yeah, man. And then there was Chris Benoit. Whew, it was crazy. Let me see here. I agree to disagree. I used to watch wrestling too. Music speaks to my soul. Hey, yeah, no, I don't. Like I said, I'm a musician. I've been a musician for a long time. I listen to more music than I do watch wrestling. I'm a music freak, like seriously. But maybe that's what gives me the appreciation for it, because I just think like you got to work a show, right? To a music show, you got to, like, when you get a gig, it's different for different types of music, but you got to work. You got to get over. And like that's pro wrestling. You're just kind of, it's all the same. It's such a great template to understand things through, because your music's not fake, but you got to get over to connect with the people. And when you add in like, well, what if you had to do that while doing backflips? And what if you had to do that while jumping off a cage? And what if you had to do that with like tacks in your back? And what if you had to do that? It's just like adding and adding and adding. And it's just like, man, it's amazing. Let's see. But yes, I don't even disagree with you, Bama. I'm as big a music fan. I'm a big music nerd. Ultimate Warrior, he was a machine. Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's a couple years before my time. I was more Attitude Era, so I've watched that kind of retroactively. Jesse the Body for president, man, maybe. Let's see. I think I'm caught up. Bread and circuses, says Buchanan. Well, to me, bear with me here on my last little tangent. Pro wrestling is what reveals the bread and circuses. It's like, especially now, it's like, well, this is a work. We all know this is a work. So it's like the one thing that you can willfully be part of the illusion, and thereby you have some means of control in that illusion. And then also it's like, it gives you, it's the kind of like what Plato's cave thing, where it's like once you get it, you're looking out of the cave then, and you realize that like, well, all of this is imaginary. Like it's all a work. It's all kayfabe. He's for the working man, working hard for the man. That's hard times, baby. That may be my favorite promo of all time. The Hard Times Dusty Rhodes promo. They give you a watch, they give you a gold watch and a kick in the butt, and they say, "Sorry, Daddy, a computer took your job." Scott Steiner went kind of nuts. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, but I mean, he's Big Papa Pump, bro. Like, that guy was a real deal, and he was a good college wrestler too. My ex-brother-in-law was a bodyguard in the late 90s for the wrestlers when they came to the Civic Center in Birmingham. He has autographs from China, Stone Cold, Undertaker, and Mankind and Big Show, maybe. Undertaker lives not far from Austin, and a good buddy of mine was a Instacart driver. Excuse me, Instacart driver for a long time, and he delivered to Undertaker's house like several times. The Macho Man, cream of the crop, a legit worker, bro. Like, yeah, his work kind of became a shoot, kind of became a work kind of thing, but yeah, just I don't know. I just have nothing but respect for the guys in that business. Computer can't take your job if you don't have one. Honestly, that's a fair point. Kevin Nash really got poked on the set of The Punisher. The scene of him pulling out the knife was totally real. Ugh, I didn't know that. Getting color, right? Getting color. The Macho Man, the cream of the crop promo. Yeah, duh. Yeah. The cream rises to the top. Jesse is the right kind of crazy. He didn't hide anything. Yeah, he's got for a while, there was this big, I probably shouldn't even talk about this, but there was a big controversy between him and another guy who claimed that some things had happened, and apparently they did not happen the way that he said that they happened. Okay? And I think Ventura got a lot of flack, and maybe he's kind of been vindicated of that to some measure. I think he legally has been. And like you can't beat Jesse in Predator when he says he describes he admonishes the other people on the helicopter for not taking a dip of chew. I mean, that's a pretty it's a pretty good description, I'd say. Jesse is the right guy. My parents didn't let me watch. Yeah, I get it. My parents barely let me watch. They forgot to swap and didn't finish. Bro, there's too many accidents on movie sets nowadays. And didn't Baldwin just get off? They were just like, oh yeah, it was just an accident. Like, really? And then Brandon Lee, remember when that happened? Like, what's going on? How is this happening? Seems like it's not that hard. Nah, Ventura is going mental. Too many explosions in Nam. Yeah, we don't really know what he did in Nam. We won't talk about it. Charles, Chris Kyle knocked Ventura out. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. There's a lot of contention about that. Like, that's why I mean, I don't really want to like speak on it, but I know believe he won the court case. So it's just there's a much more, I don't know, ambiguity to that story than I first thought. Because yeah, when I first heard about it, I was like, what a jerk. I thought Ventura was out of line, you know. But I don't know, to be fair, that's just what I've read and heard. I don't know anything about it. Californian, says Chet. Yeah, we get it. We're the most, one thing though is like people hate Californians, and I get it. But when I go home, it's like where I'm from is like more conservative than Texas. It's way more. So most of California is like very rural, like mountains, and I'm from like farmland. So unless you go there, when you go there, you're like, oh yeah, I have friends from San Diego that came and visited in my hometown. They're like, what the is this? What is this? Because like San Diego, LA, San Francisco, that is what you think about. And those, I got really good friends in all those cities, but like, yeah, you get how those people are in those places. But the rest of California is like very, very rural, very different. Let's see. I remember Steve Austin, and I'm not talking about, the $6 Million Man. Yeah, that's where they got the name from. Rust and Crow was Californians. Really? Hollywood is fine. It's when simpletons believe they were the boss in real life, like that guy from the Apprentice TV show. Well, fair enough. Hey, San Diego in the house. Dude, San Diego, the best city in America. You know, I lived there for a little while. Like, come on. Every day is just like as good as it gets, except their June gloom. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by June gloom, but man, you can't, it's just too expensive, but you cannot beat San Diego. A Texan would check them guns. Yes, chat. That's what I'm saying. Like, how did this happen? Like, I don't understand. All right. Oh man, we're almost at like 145. I had no idea. All right. So we'll wrap this up in a second here because I got to go. Still got to finish this episode. Have I heard from the editor yet, guys? Have I heard from the editor yet? Let's see. Let's see. Nope, not yet. Oh, I did. Okay. Okay, guys. So I have heard from him. I got to get out of here and get these missing pictures back to him. We're the only city in all the country to have great weather at the moment. Yeah, dude. San Diego does not miss, man. There's just no bad days in San Diego, except for the traffic. But I don't know. Austin has bad traffic too. I lived in both places, and Austin's pretty much the same. Good night, my friends, and God bless. Thanks, Buchanan. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for the stream, man. Yeah, come on back. I'll try and do one. Oh yeah, tomorrow I won't be able to. Maybe Sunday night though. But we'll be back regularly now. So sorry about that. Safety, then more safety when weapons are involved. Yeah, dude. Like, I think the Brits think like we're just crazy in America, but it's like, no, like virtually everyone you meet, yes, we have experience with firearms, but we're like crazy safety nuts about it. So like, it's a much, culturally, it's like you're obsessive about these safety rules. So most people are going like, how does this happen on a movie set? Blows my mind. No pun intended. I have no desire to ever visit Los Angeles or Hollywood. I don't think a lot of us do. Mike Holtz, I'm out, crew. Hey, thanks again, bro. Talk soon. Go Rochester Adams Wrestling. Go Rochester Adams Wrestling. Big dogs. Big dogs in the house. Big dogs got to eat. No, that's awesome, man. Hey, everybody support Rochester Adams Wrestling. Best team in Michigan. Looking forward to seeing them do big things. So I'm just really pumped. I got this swag, man. Okay, so Austin traffic is way worse because Stephen F. Austin did not think about expansion. Yes, sir. It is so bad. And they did not. They tried to keep it weird. They could have retrofit this whole city and it could be a lot smoother today. But now we just work on I-35 at all times. A loaded weapon is no different than a power tool. 100%, man. I don't know how these things happen, truly. Oh, $5 super chat from Bama Deanna. Glad you're back. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be back. Good to see everybody. I was really looking forward to seeing everybody. So thank you, Bama Deanna. All right, guys. Well, we won't keep everybody all night. We'll be back here in the next couple days. And I'll put up a longer reminder for you guys. Sorry about getting it up late tonight. Anything else? No, we got the episode should be coming out Sunday. If you haven't already, go check out part 1. Part 2 is going to be really good. I'm really excited for you guys to see it. And thanks again for coming out. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon. God bless and have a good night. See ya.